Hello, guys, and welcome. I don't know if any of you have heard of this wonder kid on the screen, and it is Endrik. He plays for Palmeiras in Brazil. Now, he's 16 years of age and can't move legally to a European club until he is 18 years of age. Now, I love transfer speculation, and this is one of the biggest so far. And there's also been a huge step from one of three teams in signing endrik. Now, the three teams in question are one, Chelsea. Chelsea have been keeping an eye on him now for a couple of months. It started ramping up really towards the middle of last month. One of the other teams is PSG. PSG also, they were starting to show a bit of an interest in September. And then, the other team who had recently just joined the race and were favourites up until this development is Real Madrid. Now, we all know what they're like for finding, great Brazilian talents. I mean, you look at people like Rodrigo. He is, no doubt, in about 2 or 3 years' time, he's going to be a world-class right winger. And then you've got an already world-class left winger in Vinicius Jr., who they also found at such a young age and got him on a great price. But the key development is not from PSG, not from Real Madrid, but from Chelsea. And that is that Chelsea have invited his family to come to the great training ground in Chelsea to have a look around, as it is really ramping up now for Endrik. He's a great talent. Obviously, scored his first goal at just 16. The youngest player for Palmeiras history to score a league goal. I think it was even the Brazilian league's history. Such a top talent. I am highly surprised there's not any more than three teams looking at Endrik. But the three big teams looking at Endrik are, like I said, Chelsea, PSG, Real Madrid. Now, there were rumours that Chelsea were slightly ahead anyway. Just simply for the fact that Endrik is a huge fan of the Premier League. He said out of all the leagues in Europe that he's watched, he watches the Premier League the most. So Chelsea always had that slight advantage. He grew up watching great players in the Premier League, great players for Chelsea, and other teams in that league. And, he's always enjoyed watching the Premier League. But they're the first team that's actually made a move in that sort of way, to the point where they've invited his family, his agent, which is also his father, to come to the training ground in Chelsea and have a look around. Real Madrid haven't made that sort of approach, neither have, Paris Saint-Germain. Obviously, he can agree a pre-contract, kind of like, Rodrigo did with Real Madrid. Obviously, until he comes of age, he can't actually join the club legally, not until he's 18, which would be, obviously the summer of 2024, which is when he'd actually then come to England. And by then, he's going to be, such a hot prospect that I'm 100% certain by the summer of 2024, a lot more teams than just PSG, Chelsea and Real Madrid are going to be looking at Endrik. I'm just hoping and praying that Manchester United enter the race a little bit. That would be, I think, a great signing for us. As a Manchester United fan, I want us to sign all the best players in the world. And I'm hoping we show a little bit of interest. Especially with signing Antony and Casemiro. There's a bit of a Brazilian connection going off at Manchester United in a minute, and maybe we can persuade him. I can get my hopes up. From what I've seen of him, he looks like an immense talent. And honestly, if he continues the way he does, he's going to become one of the best players of all time. There's no question. But yeah, it's starting to heat up a little bit now. Obviously, we'll probably find out a little bit more maybe in January and maybe towards more of next summer, because by then there's only a year to wait until he can sign. He's got I think it's a £60 million release clause in his Palmeiras contract. So £60 million for a player who's shown immense quality already at such a young age is going to be no doubt a bargain in, let's say, I don't know, 5 years time, when he's 22, 23 years old. Well, in 5 years time, yeah, he won't, he'll be 21. He's very, very young, and by the time he's 21, he could be, the next best thing, after Holland's, in his mid-20s, and Mbappe will be coming up to his late 20s. Endrik is going to be the next big thing, and, he's going to be a top talent in the future. Just looking at him and just seeing him and just seeing how interested teams are already, you just know that it's going to be a tasty transfer saga, and this could drag on for maybe even a year. It's a bit like the Sancho Manchester United one, that dragged on for a year. So, this is one to keep an eye on. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on Chelsea. They have made the first personal approach to endrik, which is more than what Real Madrid have so far and more than what PSG have so far. But as everyone knows, in football, money talks, and we'll see what happens with that. Anyway, guys, I'd love to hear what you think in the comments down below. What do you think is going to happen? Who do you think you'll end up joining? Let me know. If you did enjoy, please leave a like and please subscribe for more videos like this. Anyway, guys, I'll see you soon.